Well, Syracuse needs to put that pedal to the metal if they want to come away with this win. Currently up by just 3 here with under 4 minutes to go in this second half. Alongside Jordan Leonard, I'm Gino Antamarino. But before we can worry about how the rest of this game plays out, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
Hey folks, I'm Jason Horowitz, voice of the Raiders and WAER class of 2005. You're listening to the original home of the Orange, WAER Syracuse.
Now, Jordan, a lot of the mistakes that Syracuse has given up is because of the turnovers. They've got 4 giveaways in the last 5 minutes. Jordan, this has been a recipe for Syracuse so far this season.
It's been one of the reasons why they've struggled, especially in ACC play, and it's the points off turnovers too. Boston College, 16 points off of Syracuse's 10 turnovers today. One, you make the mistake on offense, and then make the mistake of letting them score on the defensive side compounds.
Syracuse with about 13 turnovers a game. That's third most in the ACC as the first free throw for J.J. Starling rattles home. Just before the break, Starling was fouled. Didn't get the shot to go. First free throw went, and now has a chance for one more. Starling takes a deep breath. Flick of the wrist. Rings it home. 63-58, Syracuse on top. 3:36 left to go, second half. 5 on the floor for Syracuse. Starling, Davis, Cuff, Lampkin, and Bell. 5 on the floor for BC. Beadle, Venning, Hand Jr., McFarland, and Brown. As Beadle drives down the alley, floats it with the left hand, gets it to go. 63-60, Syracuse on top, 3:15 left to go, and as we kind of expected, Jordan, a back-and-forth game all the way to the finish.
Shape it up exactly like the first matchup, too. Kyle Cuff hit a couple big threes down the stretch in that one.
Davis in the near short corner, goes up with the right hand, tucks it to bed. 65-60, Syracuse on top, 3 minutes left in this second half.
Big difference between matchup 1 and 2 is Boston College had the lead for most of the second half until Syracuse fought back. Roles reversed here today at home for SU.
Syracuse has been dominant against Boston College in the last 10 meetings. The Orange are 9-1. As a pass from Beadle way over the head of Brown, who was standing on the right wing, well over his head and out of bounds. Brown standing at 6'3". Beadle thought he was a little bit taller than that, Jordan.
Yeah, no one can be taller than Naheem McLeod, but unfortunately he's still on the bench.
Naheem McLeod, not too shabby of a game. Came in 5 minutes in that first half, put up 2 points and had 2 blocks. Lampkin from the free throw line. Passes back up top to Starling. Navigating through a screen, gets to the right low block, up with the floater. Yes, sir. 67-60, 2:13 left in the second half. J.J. Starling up to 18 points. 7 for 14 from the field. Beadle finds McFarland straight away, now into the far corner for Brown. Trying to work around Bell, gives off to Venning. Backing down Lampkin in the paint. Venning lowers his shoulder, up with the right hand. Yes, sir, indeed. 67-62. Syracuse on top, and a timeout called by Boston College, but we'll keep it here with under 2 minutes to go in this second half, Jordan.
That's just better offense from Venning. Eddie Lampkin did a solid job in the paint, just getting vertical and using his big frame, but Venning better offense compared to Eddie Lampkin's defense. And again, this is a 5-point game. It's going to come down the stretch. Again, Kyle Cuff hit 2 critical threes at about the 2-minute mark of the Boston College game in Chestnut Hill. Who comes up clutch for Syracuse to try and close this one out on its home floor?
And that last meeting especially, all the way down, like you mentioned, to the wire. They were tied 32-32 at the half. That was back on January 11th. But then Syracuse rallied in that second frame, outscored Boston College 47-39. Something that Syracuse hasn't really done so well recently, and that's outscoring its opponents in second halves. The Orange have failed to do so in the last 4 games. As after the timeout, both teams coming out of the huddle. And how about the performance of J.J. Starling? Was very quiet to begin things, but in this second, he's got 12. Starling up to 18 points, 7 for 14 as Syracuse inbounds from its own side of the floor. Davis working on the baseline, passes to Carlos, who quickly gives it up to Starling. Outlets to Bell. Gets to the far wing and slows things up, waits for reinforcements. 1:44 left to go, second half, 67-62, Syracuse on top. Carlos Whips it to Bell near wing. Skips a pass to Davis. Short corner near side. Back out to Bell. Lets it fly from deep. Rims in and out. Rebound up in the air. Davis fighting for it. McFarland grabs it. Oh my goodness, it was like a hot potato there, Jordan.
All the way up in the air.
Beadle over the timeline. 1:18 left to go. Syracuse up by just 5. Beadle gets to the near wing. Working on Carlos. Kicks it back out to Hand Jr. Lets it fly. Short. Rebound. Davis secures it. Starling has it for the Orange. Minute left to go in this game.
It's where Boston College has to make a decision on whether you want to play it out or play the foul game.
Syracuse up by just 5. Starling not in any sort of hurry as he dribbles from the Block S logo. Working on Dion Brown. He tips it a little bit, but Starling gets it right back. And he's fouled as he gets to the left lane. Foul on Dion Brown. Syracuse in the bonus. And so a 1-and-1 for J.J. Starling coming up.
Might as well just foul at the beginning of the possession if that was going to be the result for Boston College. Extend the game a little bit more. Syracuse, honestly, a little bit lucky. They didn't initiate the offense till about 8 seconds to go. JJ a little bit out of control down that left alley, but enough contact for the ref to blow the whistle.
J.J. Starling in today's game, 2 for 2 from the line. As the first free throw off the back iron. And rebound goes to Davis, who tips it back out to Bell. Now gives off to Starling. Boston College apparently not going to foul.
Huge offensive board.
Starling from the far side, working on Hand Jr. Both these teams' captains going at it. Starling gets to the right elbow, thought about a shot, elects to dribble off instead. Now gets to the far baseline, puts up a shot with 1 second left on the clock. Won't go. Lampkin the offensive grab, and he's fouled. And the Dome crowd comes to life. Eddie Lampkin showing that physicality down low, battling through the red jerseys, and he comes away with it. 67-62, Syracuse on top with 20 seconds left. Eddie Lampkin, a 1-and-1.
Coach Autry's talked about it all year. They've been a good rebounding team, 5th in the ACC in rebounding margin, but it's those critical rebounds late. 2 offensive boards to secure another foul, and a 1-and-1 for Eddie Lampkin, up 5.
As the first free throw from Lampkin won't go. Back-to-back free throw misses for Syracuse. Hand Jr. pushing the pace the other way. Works on Cuff. Gets to the short corner near side. Now spinning in the paint. Up with the right hand. Gets the roll to go. And so now it's just a 3-point game. Davis quickly inbounds to Starling, who's fouled. Wow, what a shot from Hand Jr. Adrian Autry wasn't happy about it because the shot was up on the rim and there were a couple of hands within the vicinity. Autry thought that one of the players must have touched it as it was over the cylinder.
Yeah, it was close. It depends on whose hand it was. The ball was pretty much falling and 2 players touched the net at the same time. Nonetheless, Syracuse eventually gets it in, and another chance of the free throw line, which are just 4 of 11 on today.
Not great for Syracuse. Starling trying to put things away, though, up by 3, 10 seconds left. Free throw rattles out again. Boston College has the miss. Hand Jr. over the timeline, and he's fouled by Starling with 5 seconds left on the game clock. How about the game from Hand Jr.? 21 points, 8 for 17 from the field. Has a career high 4 made threes in today's game as Boston College elects to take another timeout. 5.3 seconds left in the second half. Syracuse up by just 3. And as we anticipated, a tight one all the way until the very end.
Syracuse still 1 foul to give. Adrian Autry talked about it after this Notre Dame game at home. Notre Dame had a chance to win it, a chance to tie it down 3 with Marcus Burton. Autry was trying to call the team out to foul Burton before he took the shot. He couldn't get the call in. Burton didn't make the shot. It looks like Syracuse making that adjustment, trying to foul a player up by 3 and the late going.
67-64, Syracuse on top, 5 seconds left. Syracuse on a 2-minute scoring drought, and that's allowed Boston College to rally back in this game. They've knocked down 4 of its last 5 field goals.
It's the free throws, Gino. 4
Absolutely.
of 12 from the free throw line on the day. Syracuse hasn't been great all year, second to last in the ACC. But, I mean, even worse today, under 50%, not even close to making about half their free throws. 33% on the day.
And as we've seen time and time again, Jordan, that's what it really comes down to, are those free throws, those little things, right? The free throws, the turnovers. Syracuse with 10 giveaways in this game. The Orange entering today's game average just under 13 giveaways. That's third most in the ACC. Trying to clean up on that has been one of the biggest things that Adrian Autry has preached about. But you know what else he's preached about, Jordan? Coming away with conference wins. This team's on the verge of doing that right here with 5 seconds left in the second half. Syracuse up by just 3 over Boston College as both teams take the floor after the huddle. Boston College inbounds. The 5 for BC. Beadle, Strong, Brown, Venning, and Hand Jr. Keep an ear out for Hand Jr. as Beadle inbounds from the far side. Whips it to Venning as they quickly call a timeout. And so with 4.4 seconds left, another timeout for Boston College. Trying to get that inbound from inside its offensive end of the floor, Jordan.
Yeah, an interesting move there from Coach Earl Grant. Obviously wanted to get past the timeline to call a timeout to eventually inbound from past half court, but also Syracuse, they fouled before the previous timeout to get rid of their fouls to give. Do they foul up 3 with 4 seconds left? Like I said, they didn't do it against Notre Dame. They failed in executing it. They wanted to. They were going to make an adjustment potentially, said Coach Autry in the post-game presser, so we'll see if them fouling is still the way to go.
I'd be interested to see what head coach for the Eagles, Earl Grant, has drawn up over there.
I'd imagine it's for Donald Hand Jr.
I would imagine that too. Hand Jr., what a story for him. The sophomore for the Eagles. His freshman year a couple years ago got injured in his second game. 20 seconds into that game, tore his ACL, had to take a medical red shirt. Last year, played 34 games, averaged 5 points per game. But then this year, a completely different story, averaging just under 16 points a night in 22 games played. He's someone that, Jordan, when asked about that injury, he talked about how much that has helped him become the player he is today. He went from 199 pounds to 213 pounds, really put on the muscle, and really just got him in that right mindset. And so we'll just have to wait and see what Boston College goes with here.
And Hand Jr. mentioned that mindset, learns it from his dad, who was a 3-year player, 3-year captain at Virginia back in the late 90s.
Yeah, his dad played AAU with Kobe, Vince Carter, Rip Hamilton, so that definitely competitiveness translates generation to generation as a timeout now taken by Syracuse.
Hey, you don't get to take them to the locker room. They always say that, so you might as well be well communicated before the potential 4 seconds left. And again, this is really going to be interesting. Does Adrian Autry call out for his team to foul up 3 to make Boston College shoot 2 free throws and then have to foul Syracuse again to potentially get the ball back? Or do they just try to play defense against Boston College and potentially try to prevent Donald Hand Jr. or someone else from tying the game and going to overtime?
You can feel the tension here inside the JMA Wireless Dome. Syracuse faithful up on its feet, waiting for the inbound from Payne along the far side. The 5 for Syracuse: Starling, Davis, Lampkin, Carlos, and Cuff. As Payne gets it from the far side, smacks the ball with his left hand. Gives off to Venning, quickly back to Payne. Lets it go from straight away, rattles home! Fred Payne knocks down the 3 with 1.2 seconds left on the game clock. Timeout taken by Syracuse. Tied game at 67 apiece.
That's the worst thing you could have thought if you're Syracuse. Again, Adrian Autry talked about it in the Notre Dame post-game press conference. They wanted a foul. That's his philosophy. They just didn't execute it right. This time, out of a timeout, they choose not to foul. And Boston College made it very easy, Gino. Again, for the second straight time, they pass it right into Venning. If Eddie Lampkin is up on Venning, he can apply the foul and send them to a 1-and-1. They don't. Venning has the screen, gets Payne wide open from beyond the arc and nails the three. Syracuse still has a chance with 1.2 seconds left, but just bad execution down the stretch from the Orange.
And that kind of reminds me about that Boston College Florida State game from a few weeks ago when Chaz Kelly III knocked down that buzzer-beating three to end it, win the game for Boston College. He had 8 points in the last minute, but Boston College trying to throw a little bit of a decoy, I guess you can say, with obviously all your attention's going to go on Hand Jr., but they have other guys that can knock down shots. Fred Payne, his 8th point of the game, 2 for 6 from beyond the arc with that last made three. Wow.
And it's just great execution from Boston College. If Venning is not going to be guarded tightly, pass the ball into him, dribble handoff. He acts as a screen by just having himself 6'9", 270 stand in front of the defender guarding Payne, and he gets wide open. And credit to him, he made the shot, but they did exactly that on the first play to get it past half court and call timeout. Syracuse should have saw that coming.
1.2 seconds left in this second half. Tied ball game, 67 apiece between Syracuse and Boston College, as Jair Davis inbounds from his own end of the floor. As he quickly gives off to Carlos, who heaves it up and well short. And so that will do it for regulation. Heading to overtime, Jordan.
Hell yeah, Gino.
67-67 all here from inside the JMA Wireless Dome. And so, Jordan, I need to take a little bit of a break. I'm sure the players need to take a little bit of a break as well. So we'll take a break here. You're listening to Syracuse men's basketball on the original home of the Orange, WAER.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by our members and our sponsors.